Hi everybody, welcome back to Law Hero. My name is Jen and you are very welcome to part 3 of our psychometric testing series. Now this is the most awful one for us lawyers, which is numerical reasoning. And this was the one I personally had the most difficulty with, but amazingly I managed to get high marks in it through sheer grit and determination. If you need sample questions and answers, they're up on my website, lawhero.eu. But today I'm going to go through tips around numerical reasoning, which I found to be very helpful. So normally in numerical reasoning tests, you're going to get a graph. Could be a pie chart, could be a bar chart, it could be just a table where there's a number of values. My very first tip is to ignore that and read what the title is. You also want to be careful, especially if it's a if it's a graph, if the graph will say is cumulative sales, whereby month on month the volume rises in a cumulative manner, that they're not totals in themselves. So is it a growth chart, or is stating totals will say month by month? If it's sales, are the sales cumulative or is it gross sales per month? That was one that always caught me out, because I'm like, okay, the difference from June to July is July minus June, rather than that's the total for June, that's the total for July. So that's one you need to be very, very careful of. My next tip is around units, millions, $1,000, pounds, that's looking for your attention to detail. Sometimes you're going to have to convert currencies from dollars to euros, and you have to be really careful around that. The formula for calculating exchange rates, I'll put it up here, but what you do is you put your original currency over your new currency, and that's the exchange rate. So we'll say like $100 over 80 euros becomes 129. But if you're looking for 80 euros for $100, it would be 80 euros over $100, which is 0.8. And I'll put that up there now. And to be honest with you, that was something I did in secondary school and I had totally forgotten about it. The most important thing is the minute you read the question that you come up with a calculation plan. So we'll say like, if it's a percentage calculation, or if it's an average, that you know, okay, this is an average question, this is a percentage calculation, and then you just plug in the answers rather than, you know, not stepping back and making a plan. As I said, be careful in what format you give the answer in. And you're constantly seesawing between your graph and your your workouts. You're like, okay, going to the graph, doing my workout, going to the graph. Like, you're constantly checking back and forth to see if you're on track. So if they ask you for a change, like an increase or a decrease from one year to the other, you obviously look for the difference and then you make it a percentage of the whole. That's a very common question. Then, oh yes, there's the percentage calculation trick. So we'll say if it's 30% of 400, you just remove the zeros. So you go 3 multiplied by 40 is 120. But what happens if it's not a round number? We'll say, what if it's 30% of 81? All you do is move the decimal place. So we'll say it's 3 times 8.1 gives you 24.3, and that literally blew my mind. The other quick one is profit is sales minus costs. We all know it, but just don't forget it. If you hear of an increase, it's 100% plus whatever percentage. So like, say for example, if it's a 20% increase, it's a 1.2 multiplier, and if it's a reduction, we'll say 80% reduction, it's like 1 minus 0.8, which is 0.2. Average speed is distance over time taken. Okay, so we're just going to go through one really, really quickly here. Yeah. You'll see here there's cumulative car sales, okay? As I said, the first thing you do is read the title. You see cumulative car sales. So these aren't totals per month. This is a cumulative graph. And then you see that this is in thousands. Obviously, that's to tidy up the right-hand side of the graph where it's 2 to 24 on the y-axis. And then on the x-axis, we have the months, and we're told that's month end, and that makes sense. And then we're giving a key for Fried, Timco, 60, and Bernd. The hell that is. So the first question is, how many Bernd cars were sold in May? So we know that Bernd is the orange one, and then we go to May. So we can see that the orange one for May is on number 10. But we don't want to get caught out because, as I told you, this isn't the total. So we want to understand, if this is May, what happened in the previous 2 months? So, sorry, in the previous month. So we see that April was 9,000 because it's between the 10 and the 8. So all you do is subtract 9 from 10 to get 1,000. And you can see that the units are in thousands, so it is 1,000, which is B. The next question is, what were the total sales of Timco cars for May, June and July combined? Now, I've told you already that it is cumulative. So we go to Timco, which is the red one, and then we see May, June and July. We don't bother looking at May and June because we're told it's cumulative. And in July, we had 21,000, so we subtract April from that. So 21 minus 15 is 6. And that is basically how these questions are asked. They're looking to see, do you understand what cumulative means, and do you put the units in the correct, do you understand that the units are to be presented in a certain way when you're giving your answer? Okay, I'm not going to go to jibber jabber anymore. If you need more help, please visit my website in the description box below, and please follow along and like and subscribe, and I'll see you